Hi, I'm John Valentine and welcome to Stir, a show where we show you a couple of neat tricks and tips that you can use to impress friends and colleagues at parties, braais, barbecues, what you want to ever call it, and make cooking fun again. There's no reason why everyday cooking at home cannot bring you a hell of a lot of joy to you as well as your friends. And talk of making cooking fun again, I just want to point out I'm not a trained chef or a professional cook in any way or form. I'm just very passionate about food and in bringing joy to my family and friends. So for today we're going to do something spicy along the Mexican lines. I like to make a dish that I call refried beans that can be used as a side dish, as a dip, and any other accompaniment that you feel like. Today I'm using Rhodes baked beans. Note that there's about 10 different brands on the South African market at this point in time, all of different qualities and tastes. Some low-end qualities, obviously to fit different budgets, and some high-end qualities. But Rhodes is the one I enjoy. The reason why I mention that is because a couple of the sauces that you get in the baked beans, an example, don't have a tremendous amount of tomato sauce, and it obviously can change your taste. Easy way to fix. Some of the beans also are not fully cooked and probably a bit more al dente than others. And we want ours to have a nice soft pasty texture once we've completed our cooking. So if your beans are possibly one of the cheaper brands, there's nothing stopping you from squirting in some tomato sauce, throwing in some extra water and boiling it up for a while first until it's a little bit softer, and then you can continue with the rest of the recipe that I'm about to show you. Okay. So if you have one of the lower end baked beans, you may want to consider throwing in some Wellington's tomato sauce. The one I prefer, I like the viscosity. Again, in South Africa we're blessed with a whole range of different tomato sauces, but I just believe this is a good quality one and the viscosity is nice to cook with. The other thing that we add into our beans is a brand of chili relish made by a boy and his dog, as well as a tomato chutney made by a boy and his dog, and then plain and simple normal Himalayan salt. I like the texture of Himalayan salt. There's a whole bunch of different write-ups about the health properties that you do believe or don't believe, but I like the crystallization and that particular salt brings to the palate. And let's move over to the stove. Right, first off you're going to need a small pan to cook in. I've tossed in a little bit of canola oil. You can use olive oil or coconut oil, whichever other oil takes your fancy according to the health properties that you believe in. I've thrown in about 2 tablespoons of oil. I'm now going to add the baked beans in full. I'm also going to add in the chili relish from a boy and his dog. Throw in some Himalayan salt, about 1 teaspoon to half a teaspoon, again according to your needs. Right, so we've got our beans, our chili relish and our salt in. I'm adding a bit of a tomato chutney that I've made by a boy and his dog, but again you can just use tomato sauce if that is your preference. We stir it all up. We've got this ovens, the gas hob sit on a very low heat, and this is one you're going to have to watch and stir quite regularly as it reduces, loses more of the moisture, and we're looking for that pasty effect. As you can see, we've still got a lot of moisture to reduce out of the pot. As it starts getting to the boiling point and thereafter, we have to watch the heat reduction. The beans will start to stick at the bottom of the pot, and you have to stir quite regularly to keep it nice and pasty and ready for the last step. Towards the end of the process, as it starts to get the right texture that we're looking for, we whip in some mayonnaise. Again, you can use different qualities and different quantities according to your taste levels. If you're not so keen on chili, then you may want to use more mayonnaise. And again, the different types of mayonnaise will determine your taste outcomes. Okay, so while we're waiting for our beans to reduce, I thought I'd show you another handy snack, my jalapeno poppers. We're going to be using the baked beans from our refried beans in addition to as a dip and a side dish. It makes a great stuffing to certain dishes as well if you're trying to stay in the Mexican theme, or you just generally like spicy things. So we take our jalapenos, we trim off the ends, we remove the pith at the top. Right, using your bowl, we just remove the pith out the top of the chili like such, pull it out, roll it to remove excess pips, and to create space for your stuffing and your cheese. And we put it one side. Right, our beans have been reducing for about 10 minutes now, and they reach the consistency that we're looking for. That's kind of what we're looking for. As you can see, most of the moisture is gone, and we're now ready for the last step. Okay. Right, so our beans are now off the stove. We've reduced to the consistency that we want. We can put it into a small bowl. Right, now we're ready for our final step, and you add in as much mayo as you want the spiciness to be. The more mayo you add, the less spicy it is, and of course you always have friends and family that don't like spice as much as the next guy, and you reduce the taste accordingly. Stir it up. And voila. Like with most spicy things, you can eat this fresh and nice and warm, or there's nothing stopping you from putting it in the fridge, and it tastes even better the next day, like a good curry does as well. Anything with spice tends to taste so much better a day later. Okay. Right, now that we've finished creating the bean portion of the meal, we're now going to switch back to our jalapenos. Taking a ballot jalapeno in one hand, you take a teaspoon, put some of your beans in a small bowl, add in the cheese, and you can use whatever cheese you like, whatever floats your boat. A yellow cheese, a white cheese, a mozzarella, a Gouda, a cheddar, really doesn't matter, according to your budget and whatever your specific taste preferences are. We must remember that in the current budget constraints, many people are having the last salty crack of the month every day. So use what's available to you. Don't make a special fuss about special things. And certainly in this family, we don't believe in waste. And we use what's available on any given day. And we adapt our recipes according to what's available. Not just on seasonality, but what's available in your budget. Right, so we take some of our stuffing with cheese and beans, we put it into our jalapenos as such, keep going until it's nice and full. Okay. This one's quite full as it is, and you can add some more cheese to the top just to finish it off. Right, I've stuck my jalapenos. I've only got 2 in this particular batch, but you can fill this entire tray, stand up, put the cheese at the top, so it makes it nice and brown, and obviously makes the consistency of the jalapeno itself nice and reduced down the sides, bringing a nice stickiness to the skin and a softness to the touch. Obviously, the ultimate test is going to be popping in your mouth and finding out the end result. Right, so our jalapenos have just come out of the oven at 160 degrees for about 10 minutes. The skin is nice and glossy, and they're ready to eat together with our dip. So with that being said, these are the types of things that I like to add into my meals. 2 favorite dipping chips. We've got our Doritos, can't fail, tasty every time. For a healthier option, I enjoy these as well. Vegan, gluten friendly, much lower fat content, and a hell of a lot healthier for you, but just as tasty. So depending on which one you enjoy, it's time to dig in. Right, and here comes the best part now, ready to munch. Right, talking about our favorite part, here we go. Bon appetit. Just the way Mama likes.